chestnut roasting.
Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you 3 different trays that you can make using only Dollar Tree items. I feel like this DIY turned out so good, so if you are interested, stay tuned. So for the first DIY, I'm just going to take 2 of these 8x10 picture frames. And then I had these laying around. These are just some hardware, some handles that I had laying around. I've never used them. I'm pretty sure that I picked those up at Hobby Lobby. They have a lot of different kinds to choose from, and I'm pretty sure I got it on the 50% off. But you can get a bunch of hardware at Hobby Lobby. You're also going to need some E6000 glue and a glue gun. And then I printed that Christmas sign off of my computer. I really liked the font. I wanted this to be like a Ray Dunn inspired tray, and that was the font that I found that was closest to the Ray Dunn font. So I just printed off Christmas, and I'm going to use that for my tray. So the first thing you want to do is disassemble your tray. Take everything out of it. And now I'm going to be honest with you guys, I had never quite made a tray like this, and so I didn't know exactly how I wanted it to go. Right here, I'm just pulling out the metal tabs. They come out so easy, you guys. So just go ahead and pull those out. And then once you have those pulled out, figure out how you want your tray to sit. So this took me a while to figure out, but I knew that I wanted my Christmas sign to show. So basically, I'm just going to put everything back in my tray. And I realized because of that frame that's already inside of there, my Christmas sign wasn't going to be big enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use the black piece of the frame, which is the very back of the frame. And I'm going to take out the metal tabs in that, and then I'm going to place my glass inside. But before I do that, I'm going to take my other frame and I'm going to pull out the metal tabs in that frame so I can have a better idea of how I want my tray to look. I decided that I was going to take my Christmas sign and I was going to make it smaller. So I'm using this method because I really am not good at cutting with scissors. I can never cut straight. So basically I'm just going to bend it, and then I'm not even sure what this method is called, but that's how I get my straight lines when I use paper. So that's just what I do. And then I'm going to do that to both sides. Make sure they're even. I used my first one to measure how big I needed that fold to be. And then I'm going to rip off that. If anyone knows what that method is called, I don't know if there is a name for it. Comment below and let me know. I tend to use it a lot because I really am not good with scissors. So now I'm going to take my red and black buffalo plaid wrapping paper from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut it so that it will fit this back piece of the frame. Now I know now that I probably should have cut more so that I could basically wrap it like a present. But again, this was just trial and error. It was the first time ever doing this, so I'm kind of just winging it, you guys, which I end up doing with a lot of my DIYs. So now I'm just going to fold the edges over so it has a finer edge and you don't see my horrible cutting skills. If you have to hot glue it, go ahead. I just taped it, but I wanted to make sure they were all folded over. And then I'm going to place it back into my picture frame. And now I'm going to take my Christmas sign that I had cut and I'm going to place it in the middle. I was debating on if I wanted to tape it down, but then I decided not to because the glass is going to hold it in place. So I just put that in the middle and then I place my glass on top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other picture frame that I had And I'm going to use some E6000 and I'm going to run that across the bottom frame. And I wouldn't use a whole lot because you don't really want it to seep out the sides. So just use very minimal and then just use your glue gun where it's necessary. You don't really have to use your glue gun. I just did that for the purpose of the video to make it hold better instead of having to wait for the E6000 to completely dry. And this is actually kind of hard because I don't think all frames are the exact same. When I put it on there, everything lined up except the one corner, so that might happen, just be aware of that. But to me it was okay, it was in the back. I wasn't really worried about it. And this is how it turned out. I think it looks good. And so now I'm just going to add the hardware to the frame, those handles, by using E6000 glue and hot glue. And this is how it turned out. This is the final project. I think it turns out beautifully. I love the tray. I have something in mind for this tray, and that's why I needed it. Again, you can make it how you want. You can paint the frame. You can use different handles. Really customize it, make it your own. This is exactly what I was going for. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using these square glass plates from the Dollar Tree. I did want them to be white. I actually had these left over from Halloween. I used them for my tablescape. And then I'm going to use one candlestick that I picked up. Actually, I'm not sure if this one came from the Dollar Tree because it has a thinner middle part. I think I actually got it at the DI or a thrift store for like 50 cents. Now you're going to need your Waverly chalk paint, black. See these canisters? I have these in my kitchen. I love these canisters, and if you can tell, they have some black distress marks. Very farmhouse, very cute. And I wanted my tray to match the canisters that I already have in my kitchen. So I'm going to use my black Waverly chalk paint and one of these foam brushes that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And I'm basically going to sponge some of that black onto the plates. Now, I had no idea if this was going to turn out, but it actually did. So right there, I'm actually just dabbing the paint onto the foam board because I don't want it to be too thick. I do want it to have just a little bit of black. I wanted it to look as close to those canisters as I possibly could get that. Again, this was just a trial and error. And where I mess up, I actually just wipe it off with my finger. I feel like this chalk paint on glass is very forgiving. If you do make a mistake, you can just wipe it off with your finger and then redo it. So I thought that was good enough. I think it actually turned out really well. Some of the spots are a little bit dark, but that's okay. I feel like it gives it some variation, and I just think it turned out really good. So I was really surprised with myself that I got it to even match those canisters. So I'm going to do that with the second plate. And now the thing about this two-tier tray is that the plates are going to be the same size, but for me that was okay. And I really liked using the square plates because I felt like it gave it more of a surface to decorate, if that makes sense. So basically right here, you can see that I'm kind of wiping off some of the spots that I don't necessarily love. But now I'm just going to take my E6000 and I'm going to glue the candlestick onto the bottom plate. I was debating on if I wanted to use just one candlestick or two, but I ended up liking only one. So you're going to try to get that as center as you possibly can. Go ahead and put your E6000, and I also, after I use my E6000, I also use my hot glue gun just to make it hold better and stick in place for the purposes of the video, and then I let it dry overnight. So try to get that as center as you possibly can, and then go ahead and do the same thing to the top of the candlestick, and then place your plate as center as you possibly can to the top of the candlestick. Now I did the best that I could to get it as center as I could, and this is how it turned out. I actually really like it. I'm okay that the two plates are the exact same size. It doesn't bother me at all because I'm going to be decorating the plates. I just wanted the plates to have a lot of surface space so that I could decorate. And this is what it looks like with some of Dollar Tree's items on there. I really love the I Love Santa cup with the pick inside, and then I also really love that owl. And I do feel like the black distress marks actually looked really good. So for this next DIY, I'm going to do another 2-tiered tray. You are going to need a pie pan and then also a cake pan. The pie pans from the Dollar Tree are a little bit bigger than the cake pan, so those are going to be what you put on bottom. The cake pan is going to go on top. Now I have 2 candlesticks there because I didn't know if I wanted to put 2 candlesticks in the middle to make it a taller tiered tray, or if I just wanted to use one and make it a smaller tiered tray, if that makes sense. But in the end, I decided to use only 1 candlestick. And what I'm doing here is I'm just using my black Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint these tins the best that I can. Now it actually took me about 2 coats to paint the tins, and really I didn't want it to be perfect. I do like things to have that rustic homemade feel to it, so I really wasn't too worried about covering or painting them completely. So I've set that aside and I let that dry, and then I'm going to move on to my pie pan, and this is what they look like once they are done. As you can see, they're not completely covered in black chalk paint, but I like that look a little bit more. Now I'm just going to paint my candlestick the same color black. And that is what it looks like when it's all done. Now I'm going to take my E6000 glue and I'm going to put glue on the bottom of the candlestick, and then also again I'm going to use my glue gun. This isn't necessary, you do not have to do this, but I do it for the purpose of the video, and I do let them dry overnight before I use them or start decorating them. So again, what you want to do is you want to just make sure you can get it as center as you possibly can in that pie tin. And then you want to do the same for the top. So make sure you put your glue on top of the candlestick and then try to place the cake pin as evenly as you can on top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red and black buffalo plaid ribbon that I picked up at Dollar General for only $2. I love this ribbon. I think it's beautiful. And so I'm going to take that ribbon and I'm going to basically make a bow. So right here I'm going to fold it and I'm going to dovetail or fishtail the ends. And you can actually fold it to where you can put both ends together and then just cut. Makes it a little bit easier. Saves a little bit of time, I guess. And so now I'm just going to make my bow. And I don't know how to explain this, so I hope that you guys can just see what I'm doing. So right here, you want to just take some, once you have your bow the way you want it, just take some twine or some jute string, tie it in the middle, and then once you have it all tied up, play with it a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer. I hated the ends of this ribbon. This bow didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it because the ends of the ribbon kept curling, but it's fine. It's going to be sitting on my tray anyway. So and now I'm going to also use this ornament that I picked up at Dollar General. It was only $1. I love the reindeer on it. I thought it was really cute and actually a really pretty ornament for only $1. And I'm just going to use it to decorate a little bit. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to find out where I want my bow to go, and I decided to place it on the bottom pan. And then I hot glue it onto the bottom. You can hot glue it to the top. You can hot glue it to the candlestick. You can place it wherever you would like, but I thought it would look cute right here. And then I'm just going to take my ornament. I'm just going to use it to maybe hold the top tier in place and let that dry overnight. And this is how it turned out. I really love it. The cool thing is if you wanted to write in those cake pans or the pie pan, you could use chalk, you could write on the side, you could write in them. I think it's beautiful. I really, really love how it turned out. So there you have it, you guys. You have 3 different ways that you can make a tray using only Dollar Tree items. You can make 1 tray or 2-tier trays. And there's 2 different ways to make a 2-tier tray. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you are interested in seeing more DIYs, hit that like button and subscribe. Love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.